Hello, and welcome to BlueTips. This is our second BlueTips session. I recognize a few here from last week. Just to remind you what BlueTips are, these are just short 15-minute sessions we're going to do every Friday at 1 p.m. The idea is to provide some important, timely technological news that you can use. It's not to be training, really more overview things to get information out to you. We promise to keep every session under 15 minutes. And in fact, to do so, I even have the timer here to make sure that I do not go over 15 minutes. So last week's topic was what's new with Blue Line 2. We recorded the thing just like we're recording today, and it's available on the Blue Line blog if you'd like to see that. This week's session, though, is on introducing the new BlueCafe powered by WebEx. Now, BlueCafe is a web conferencing solution we have here at Creighton. We've actually been doing web conferencing for a while here. We used a product called Wimba from roughly 2008 until just this last year. Great product, but it was bought out by another company, being end of life. And towards the end, we really started having technology problems just because it wasn't kept up to date with modern web standards. So it really was time to change, plus we had to. Had a committee from across campus, got together, looked at a whole bunch of solutions, decided on WebEx, which I put on the slide here is awesome. One of the reasons I really like WebEx, and I think the whole committee did, is because almost everyone has heard of it. It's you go to a meeting and you ask people, how many of you have used WebEx? Almost everyone has at some point because so many businesses already use it as their solution. So it is a great tool. It has many of the exact same features and better ones we have in Wimba that you can use for teaching classes or holding business meetings. Now just some lingo, and I kind of spread out here for you a little bit, tell you about. First of all, we have something called hosts. And if you want to use BlueCafe with WebEx, you most likely need to be a host. Hosts are who can create meeting spaces and then need to actually initially start them for them to be used, and then must be there during that time. Hosts, I'll show you a little bit here. You fill out a request form, we create the account for you. After that, you log in with your Creighton credentials, and you're set to go. Within BlueCafe, there are two different types of training spaces, or meeting spaces. One's called Meeting Center, the other's called Creighton Center. With Meeting Center, they're both very similar, have the basic functioning tools, but Training Center is probably a much better solution if you're teaching a class, doing something in there. It does a few extra things, like the ability for participants to raise their hands. You have breakout rooms, so you can take your group of 20 and break them into their own 4 separate groups of 5 students, things like that in the Training Center. But whereas Meeting Center is a little easier to set up. One of the difference also from Wimba is there are no perpetual rooms. In other words, with Wimba, you could create one room and just use it forever, send people the link. That is a difference in WebEx here. You do need to schedule each session you're going to have. So for instance, if I'm doing office hours once a week, all semester, I would need to schedule those. Conveniently, there's a recurring events way to do that, and then provide a link for each day that's separate. Sounds a little problematic, but it's really not. It's actually fairly simple to set up and actually post those links in Blue Line 2 or through emails. Now you might be thinking, am I a host, and how do I become a host? We've already made some people hosts who were identified as people we knew would be web conferencing quite a bit, and we've done those. You may have actually received an email from WebEx about that. If you aren't one, though, it's really easy to go and fill out the form. I'll show you here in a minute. If you don't know if you're a host or not, easiest thing to do is to try to log in to our BlueCafe instance. And if it logs you in but says no user account, that means you're not a host yet. You need to fill out the form. So with that, why don't we go ahead and take a look. Let me go in. We're going to start here. Actually, let's go back to the Creighton webpage. To get to BlueCafe, the way I like to do it right now, you could just search for BlueCafe. I'm not sure if we have shortcuts yet or not. There probably is. I don't see it. So after the URL, creighton.edu, just after that slash, add the word BlueCafe. And that'll take you to our page, which has all kinds of information about BlueCafe and how to get there. First section I'll point out is the Getting Started, where it has the link to where you can request a host account. It's just a simple survey form to fill out, and within a day or two, your account will be created. And then you follow this link to actually log in and use the system. Before I do that, let me just show you all the learning resources available. There are links here. WebEx, one thing that's really nice about WebEx is they have all kinds of learning resources already. They have their own WebEx University, or WebEx they call it, with great training resources available for you. So there's good information there. But what I really want to do now is actually go to the page, and that's bluecafe.webex.com. This is our own instance. And since I am a host, and I want to host a session, I need to click the host login. So let me click that. You'll notice this login looks the same as our Blue Line 2 login, as our AMI login. That's because it uses the same system. And this is the point where if I didn't have an account, it's going to log me in, but say you don't have an account, but I do. So it's going to log me in. And now, remember I talked about Training Center versus Meeting Center. I'm going to go to Training Center. And this is where I can schedule training. This is a form where I fill out. I can schedule a single session. I can schedule recurring sessions. But the key is once you get this set up, you're going to get those links. You don't need to invite people. You're going to get those links and post them in Blue Line 2 class. Don't want to show you much more on this really just because this isn't a training session. I want to get in and actually show the product. So instead of scheduling a session, I'm going to use this instant session link, which is just a quick way to fire up a session for right now. So we'll call this one BlueTips. I want to make sure and enable an audio conference. It's not just sharing the screens. We actually want to be able to talk through the session. And after clicking that, I'll click OK again. It is now going to fire up my meeting room in the Blue Cafe. Once it starts up here then, what I will do is I'm going to invite a few other participants to come into my meeting space. Okay, now just to double check in here, you can see the level. It is reading my microphone fine. If I play test, I can test to make sure my speakers are fine. They are. So at this point, I am going to invite some people. I can use this big button here, invite and remind, and put in some email addresses of some people I'd already arranged for it. And just like that, it sent out invitations to those 3 email addresses I added. They are going to get an email which has a link that goes right to this session. They do not need to log in. And that's what's nice about the system. Only the host actually has to have an account. When the host creates the session, and then they invite people either this way or provide a link inside Blue Line 2 or something, or a separate email system, all the other users need to do is follow that link. That's not just for students. If I had another presenter, say from another school, or just wherever, they aren't affiliated with Creighton, once they come into the session, I can promote them to presenter, and they can still be the presenter. So that's really nice. Just the host needs that information. I'll show you a few more things while we wait for people to show up here. This is my attendee list, just my name, but we should see other people here in a moment. There's a chat window down here where you can chat to everyone or individuals. Looks like Brent's about to show up here. This is how we fire our webcam up. I just want to check something real quick. There we go. I have 2 cameras in this room. So if I fire up my camera now, it is going to broadcast my video to the rest of the room. And I think I hear Brent there in a minute. When I see Brent's camera come on, I'm going to actually give him presenter status so that he can actually take over and show you a few things that he can do here. There's Kathy. Okay, there's Brent. So now if I want to make Brent a presenter like I just mentioned, I click on him and say Make Presenter. And now even though Brent is not in with a host account, he has access to go and present. Say hi, Brent.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for making me presenter. Right now I can fill your screen with lots of fun stuff. I just opened up my internet browser. I'll go ahead and share my Safari browser. I'm on a Mac, by the way. I'm also using an external USB camera. Let's see here. I'm going to go ahead and share my Safari. Let's see how easy this is. And Chuck Kladowski walked in. Everyone say hi to Chuck, everyone. Say hi, Chuck.
Hi, Chuck.
Hi, guys. Anyways, so as you can see, it's very simple to start sharing your browser or your desktop. And I'm on a Mac, Rick's on a PC. This is the Apple website here, so we can click around and do what we like to do. And yeah, that's really it. It's fun stuff.
Okay, so as Brent was saying, so when you're in this view, there is a drop down. So if I click return, it takes me back to my other view. And if I decide I don't want to listen to Brent anymore, I can make myself presenter then by clicking on my name and saying make presenter. So there were some basics. When Brent was sharing his screen, the way he did that actually is back here on this screen, he clicks on share application, and you have your choices between sharing files, sharing different other applications. One other thing I want to show is that from this view of the video, if I click this little button here to view all participants, it is now going to show me the video from everyone who's in this session. So we're seeing Kathy here. She doesn't have her camera on. We can see Brent. I can even go full screen right now. It's kind of focused on Kathy. I think her microphone's picking up some stuff. We're also getting, you may hear a little bit of echo because I've got two people in the same room accessing this. Ideally, if you're doing this with other people in rooms, you'd have headsets on with microphones, but I don't look very good that way, so we're doing it this way. So at any rate, there's kind of the basics of how BlueCafe works. Again, just show you what the information is. Back on the Creighton.edu/BlueCafe, we have all kinds of information here about how to request your account, how to access the system, and several learning resources that are available there to give you more information. Thanks for coming to the BlueTips today. Watch for the video. We'll post it online as soon as we get it done. And hopefully you'll be back with us next week. Oh, you know what? I did want to share one other thing here. We had an unsolicited feedback from an instructor who is using the system. Let me go real quick to that slide. This is a professor teaching online Master of Arts in Ministry course. And she addressed it to Kathy and myself, but it should actually be thanking everyone on the committee. I'll just read it real quick in case you can't see it. I have to tell you that WebEx is fabulous, by far the best web conferencing experience I have ever had, including GoToMeeting, Skype, Wimba, and one or two others I've forgotten. It was clear, audible, allowed so many options for seeing the students or observing their PowerPoint as they talked. The recording is very good and clear. To a person, the students said it has altered the online playing field entirely. They said it offered a presence we've not been able to achieve up to this point in online courses. I won't go on, but needless to say, this is someone who's had a lot of experience with web conferencing solutions, and she loved it. So we hope you will too, and we hope that you'll join us again next week for next week's BlueTips, where we will talk about integrating BlueCast with BlueLine 2. Thanks.